Services meeting, March the 26th, 2018 at 12 noon. And we've got 4 items on the agenda. And the first one we're going to have to put off until either the end of the meeting or our next General Services meeting. So start with the second one, adoption of Veteran Centennial site plan is amended to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and City's Comprehensive Plan. Mike?
Good afternoon, Council. We're here to talk about the property we know as Veteran Centennial Park, located on Fernan Hill Road. That's a piece of property that was donated to us many years ago that has sat vacant since then. And the Natural Open Space Committee was tasked with developing a master plan for the site. This property came with some deed restrictions and some wishes from the donor, and we were trying to balance them. Basically, it's to, she wanted to encourage the development of a park and recreation area for the benefit of the citizens of Coeur d'Alene. And she was very adamant that the park remain as natural of a state as possible. So this plan tries to balance those 2 objectives. As you know, the site is up on Fernan Hill, and it is the only publicly owned piece of property for a large part of the town. It's the only parkland east of 15th Street, so it's a large underserved area of the community. That shows the property lines, including the kind of a dog leg at the bottom, which is our legal easement to the property off of Fernan Hill Road. This was the original design we came up with, and based on citizen feedback, we have modified it a couple of times. We brought this plan forward in February and received additional comment, and this is the plan we're actually asking you guys to adopt at this point. You can see it's been scaled back dramatically. It still functions as a park, but it does keep the property in as natural a state as possible. This process has been probably one of the most vetted master plans we've ever had. It started with the Parks and Recreation Master Plan back in 2006, which basically specified the site needed a master plan. It was backed up by the comp plan, which supported the development of park property and wanted the city to provide activities like hiking, open space, and passive parks. The Natural Open Space Committee wrote the management plan for this site back in 2012, and under existing site access, they described the conditions, but the 3 key things they felt like we needed in this property was an entrance road, a public parking area to prevent people from driving all over the place, and to construct a pathway system within the park. For public facilities, there are none out there now, but some of the recommendations were to include a Veterans Plaza to honor veterans, because that was one of Emma von Locken's requests, is that veterans be honored in this property, a gazebo, and a restroom shelter. And the restroom shelter could either be a vault toilet or one of those porta potty structures that we build. So we went through an extensive public vetting system. We brought this to the Parks and Rec Commission back last June, and we received a lot of citizen feedback. They really wanted us to scale it back. So we hosted a workshop to solicit more input back in November. We brought the revised plan to the public at the Parks and Rec Commission again in February. And we've received a lot of questions about how we're managing the woods in the park, and I added this slide to let everybody know that we are on this. Our Urban Forestry Department and the Fire Department routinely survey the site, and this is some of the recommendations they have made. And most of this was covered in the Natural Open Space Management Plan under Vegetative Management. We sent a copy of the plan to MSC Graves' relative, Jack, and these were the comments he made. Basically, he liked the minimalist nature of the plan and thought it would please his aunt very much, and said, "You have fulfilled my aunt's wishes." So some of the changes we made to the master plan based on citizen input from our first version to the current version are, we removed the bike trail that was going to be parallel to the, no, I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. We moved the trail on the east side of the park further away from private property owners to enhance their privacy. We had a reference to a rain garden, and then we realized that it was not a natural feature, so we eliminated that feature from this park. Secondary pathways were removed to simplify the design. The concept of amphitheater was changed to a small gathering area away from the property boundary. We had some specific neighbors that were concerned with the siting of that facility. The footprint of the parking lot has been reduced as far as we can and still allow fire access and school bus access. We eliminated some of the more intensive landscaping, both to save water and to simplify the design. We reduced the number of trees because we had some concerns about preserving the view shed from the existing property owners. They have a pretty nice view out towards Rafton Mountain from that site right now. And we did remove the paved trail along the entrance road. That was kind of redundant. Entrance road would serve the purposes of cycle access. And that's basically a really quick PowerPoint presentation on this.
Okay, Bill, what about, you know, the name Seagraves?
We thought we would combine both of those, so it would be Veteran Seagrave Memorial Park. So something along those lines. So I think we can do, and what Councilman's referencing is that we had two separate deeds. One that was actually filed with the county, and another one that I had that was a year later where that referenced it would be known as Seagraves Park. But the one that was filed with the county said it would be called Veteran Centennial Park. So in order to do that, we're just going to take those two and bring them together to create that verbiage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Sure.
Dan?
Thank you, Ron. Bill or Mike, this was pretty contentious, and I saw the video and read the minutes. Have you ironed out all those?
Early on, it felt that way, but I believe that our vetting process that Mike demonstrated here was excellent, and at the last Park and Rec Commission meeting, there was only 3 people there, and all 3 were in favor of this plan. And so
Good.
The commission voted for this unanimously, and so I think, and one of the ladies got up and spoke and said that the system works. She was real excited because, you know, she came up and talked about the fact that we heard their voices and we made the changes. And so, yes, it was early on, there was some discussion, but I think we've ironed out all of those wrinkles.
Good. This has changed from when I looked at it, which was in the natural open space plan. It was a little bit different, but it seems like you have worked on it and moved the parking lot up, which is one of the concerns that I had before. Well, actually, the gazebo was way up in the hills, and now you guys have moved it down by the
More in the center, and that's correct. And so we kind of, again, pulling all that area away from the property owners, it was helpful, I think. And yeah, this is probably rendition 4 that you're voting on today.
Cool. And it's not in the city. It's not in the city limits.
Correct.
It's kind of, we own it, but it's.
Well, actually, the note is being held in trust from the Parks Foundation, but it is being held for us as a park.
Okay. And I noticed there was something in there about Kootenai County building codes, so I guess we can go ahead and opt out of those now.
That's a good idea. I would think we could do that.
It was just a jab at the county. Anyway, looks good.
Okay, thank you.
But I would like to see it as an agenda item.
Okay.
Because I think this is big, like you said, it's a
Yeah,
it's
no,
a big,
I expected
big
that. Very
chunk
good.
of land,
Yep.
and it's the only thing we have on the east side of town. So I'd like people to know about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And just feedback, I think that this slide is great for the citizens to see that they were heard.
Right.
The process was there for them to give input, and outlining the changes is very helpful.
It was a great process. I enjoyed it.
I think it was explained also to the Park and Rec Commission and also the people who live up there that, you know, this is just kind of a plan, and the city has no money budgeted for it, and we don't look for it to happen within the next year or 2 years. It's down the road.
Right, and it's like Councilman McGuckin's suggestion here that people to get to know about it. And so,
Yeah.
we can, the first thing we'd ever do is probably create a spot for folks to get up there and park. that would be the first thing that we'd end up having to do. But you're right, Ron, it's a ways out.
Yep. Okay, I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend that council adopt the Veteran Centennial Site Plan as an addendum to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and the city's comprehensive plan.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item number 3, approval of Brooks Seaplane Services LLC lease agreement. Bill?
So, Grant Brooks contacted me a couple of years ago and said that he's been doing this for a long time, and that he's in a place where he thinks he'd like to retire and spend time with the grandkids. So he has been looking to have someone take over his lease, and there's a gentleman, Mr. Lunt, is interested in doing that. And so we have worked with him. Troy and I and Randy have worked through his lease, and we're here to ask that you guys approve this. Mr. Lunt's intent is to do exactly what Mr. Brooks has been doing all these years. He doesn't really want to change it at all. He doesn't see, as he told me on the phone, it's not broke. We don't need to fix it. So he wants to do everything the same. He understands that it's an iconic sort of service that's been here that people come to flock to. Have you been up?
Yeah, last time I went up, we had our kids, and they were all little kids, and we figured they would think it was so cool, and they screamed the entire time. So it was fun.
So Grant's dad was the one that was to take a ride with. He was the one
Yeah.
that got a little closer to the treetops.
No, it wasn't that. They couldn't even see out.
Oh.
They just screamed.
And the Parks and Rec Commission voted for this as well.
Any questions?
Because it was like, we just did this, didn't we? I mean, this was,
Well, the renewal for Grant for Mr. Brooks, that's correct.
Right.
And so we did that because Mr. Brooks wasn't certain how long it was going to take him to find a buyer. And so we just wanted to keep his lease active.
cool.
Okay, any questions? Okay, need a motion.
Move to recommend council approve of agreement with Brooks Seaplane Service LLC.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks, Bill. Okay, item number 4 is Fire Chief Kenny Gabriel.
Good afternoon. I think we got an easy one to finish off today. In years past, we've had an agreement with Idaho Transportation Department to provide fire service on 95, and if your staff reports, I apologize, there is an error. It says Highway 95, but it's also I-90. So 95 and I-90 in the city limits, and it's something they need to do because of their right-of-way, and what it does is it just spells out what we're going to do, and pretty much what we're going to do is put out any fires that happen on any of those highways. They do these for 5 years. We did it 5 years ago, and now it's up for, they want it to be re-up now, and that's what we're asking you to do. There's very little, if anything's changed since the last one.
Okay, any discussion?
Sure. So this does not include hazmat.
No, but we are first response at hazmat in the city. So if there is a hazardous material spill, we'll mitigate it at the beginning stages. But Kootenai County Fire and Rescue is the state team, so they would come out and handle that.
Okay. And this is, the paperwork, or the payment requirements is similar to what we have to do with the Department of Lands.
It's the same.
Okay. And then also noticed here in the billing guidelines, it says that a fire service organization, which I think we are, with wage employees shall be paid at unoperated hourly rate. What's that?
If you had an engine where you didn't use the people, and that comes straight out of the IDL book as well, they can buy the truck,
Oh, okay.
and they would just pay for the piece of equipment.
They pay for the equipment.
Correct.
And we're good with that.
Yes, we are.
Cool.
Amy, any questions? Okay, need a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend council approval of an agreement with Idaho Transportation Department for fire protection within ITD right-of-ways on Highway 95. And then should I add I-90?
Please. And I'm
And
sorry about that
I-90.
mistake.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you.
Okay, we still don't have anybody here for item number one, approve.
Gonna get it.
Oh, Troy, good,
Hitting for Renata.
yeah,
Troy Tymason.
okay.
Thank you, council members, General Services Committee. The question before you today is a request for destruction of records. Pinch hitting for the city clerk. We would like to eradicate DVDs of public meetings from the year 2005 through the year 2015. About 1,000 of those, and we would then gain that storage space back. The legal public record for meetings are the minutes, not the recordings, as per code. So that would be my simple report on this Monday.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Sorry, Ron. Troy, have any of those recorded meetings been moved to YouTube or digitally stored in another manner?
I don't believe we have.
Is there, and you probably don't know what the issue is with that, probably just time to copy them over to
Would be that.
some other type
The
of
last
storage.
couple of years have been put to YouTube.
Thank you, Lord.
So that'd be like 2016? Would be the last couple of years?
Okay. Interesting, okay, that's, well, but, and we do have those records. But wait, does that include audio records too? So we keep our audio, don't we? We don't know?
Just
No?
written records.
Also, in the description of records, things to be destroyed, we're destroying some stuff from Ignite. And how does that work? I mean, I would think that they would be responsible for their own record keeping, so is it because we're the parent agency?
Yeah, we are the component unit overseer, which Ignite is a component unit of the city of Coeur d'Alene. And let's see, Ignite, Coeur d'Alene prior LCDC. So we would have been storing those probably all the way back when Ignite was not Ignite, it was LCDC, and the city of Coeur d'Alene would have been doing all those meeting minutes.
Okay, and so I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that their board has already approved the destruction of those records as well?
Well, they're your records
Oh. So they
at
don't
this
need,
point.
so
they
it
wouldn't.
doesn't matter what they think.
It does matter, but yes, they don't have to have input on the approval of the destruction of those.
Okay, thank you, Troy.
You bet.
I wish we could keep those, the DVDs, it would be cool, but I recognize that would just be a colossal amount of time. I know they have machines that do that, very expensive machines that you can just, stick all the things in and they copy them over, but I'm happy that we're storing everything now on YouTube and Facebook for the public.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, need a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend council authorize staff to proceed with the destruction of records as listed pursuant to Idaho Code 50-908.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Anything else? Mike, do you have anything? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.